Welcome to the Impact of Radio on Our Lives, a class taught at MiraCosta College in beautiful Oceanside, California. My name is Sherri Allen, and I'm the instructor. We hope you enjoy all of our wonderful student-written scripts for the spring semester 2023. And now, on with the show.
Rick's Place, a Space-Noir by Craig Limekeeler. I'm Rick Less, played by Crank. I own Rick's Place, a spaceport on a small asteroid in the Orion Belt.
I am Marion Moore, played by Catherine. I once had a torrid romance with Rick when I was younger. Now I am the wife of the Saturnian freedom fighter, David Moore.
I am Sam, played by Eric. I am Rick's grumpy robot partner, hence the robotic delivery rig. I accidentally invented a more efficient form of space travel called the dark speed hyperdrive.
And I am Inspector Rock, played by Lynn. I am from Jupiter, and I am also looking for David Moore.
I am Krakor, played by James. I am a ruthless Krantaran, which is redundant. I will stop at nothing to obtain the dark speed hyperdrive.
I am the Dr. Sputnik, played by Lisa. I too want that dark speed hyperdrive that David Moore is looking for, but I want to sell it to the highest bidder.
Hello again, my name is still Rick Less. Like I was saying, I run a little nightclub called Rick's Place on an asteroid in the Orion Belt.
What do you mean you run Rick's Place? I'm the one doing all the work, planning the menus, ordering the food, preparing the food, mixing the drinks.
That's my partner Sam. He's a robot with his own theme music.
Feeding the guests, playing the music, orchestrating, floor show.
He tends to ramble a bit. I've been meaning to look into that. I think one of his solenoids is loose.
Do you even know what a solenoid is? How humans ever found their way off their planet has got to be one of the biggest mysteries of the universe.
Okay, Sam, your power reserves are getting low. Why don't you roll yourself into the utility closet and recharge? Now, where was I? Yes. Business was getting on the slow side because of the war between the Saturnians and the Kronterans. It was beginning to spill over onto our side of the galaxy, and people were starting to choose sides. An old acquaintance, Inspector Rock, had just stopped by for a brief chat. She's a Jupiterian, an all-woman, all 8 feet and 800 pounds of her. She looks like a landslide in a dress come to life.
Good evening, Mr. Less. I need to ask you a few questions.
Good evening, Inspector. I'm always happy to talk to local authorities. Please, have a seat. Can I get you some pink quartz while we talk? Just then I heard a chair break.
Sorry about the chair. I'm on duty, so I'll have to pass on the pink quartz. But some slate shale would be nice.
Sam, would you be so kind as to get the inspector some of that fresh shale we just got in?
Sure, like I've got nothing better to do.
So, what can I do for you, Inspector?
We are currently looking for a man named David Moore. Where were you last night?
Last night? That was so long ago I don't remember. As for David Moore, that name doesn't ring a bell.
According to our sources, he was your rival for Marion Moore. Her husband, David Moore, is the leader of the Saturnian underground. The Kronterans would also like to ask him a few questions. I can assure he will be better off with us.
We all need a hobby. Mine is not getting my head detached from my body. Any particular reason he'd be in this neck of the galaxy?
It seems that someone in the Orion Belt has perfected a more efficient way to travel through space, and now it's a race between David Moore and the Kronteran Empire. This new technology will affect the balance of power in our universe. They believe Mr. Moore is on the verge of acquiring this new technology.
Spectre, I stick my neck out for nobody. It takes
Oh,
a
did I
long
mention
life.
the Cronterans are offering a large reward for information leading to his capture and arrest?
That's good to know. Maybe I'll stick my neck out just a smidge.
Indeed. And now I must take my leave. Thank you for the shale. It was quite delicious.
What I didn't know was at that exact same moment, a contrarian named Cracker was having a business meeting with one Natasha Sputnik, an infamous Martian spy for hire.
I see you got my message, Miss Sputnik. It is vitally important that we acquire this new dark speed hyperdrive. What are your qualifications?
Oh, well, rest assured that if anyone can get the dark speed hyperdrive, it is I, Natasha Sputnik. I was trained by the Acme School of Evil. I was voted most likely to overthrow a world government.
Those are very impressive qualifications. Just how do you plan to go about obtaining the dark speed hyperdrive?
So simple. I will use my feminine wiles to seduce him. No earthling can ever resist me.
But if that should fail?
Then I have a couple of ray guns, a sonic spear, a singing sword, a humming hammer, and this little bag of peanuts to change his mind.
A few minutes later, a Martian with bad intentions slithered over. She was wearing a low-cut dress, her tentacles glistening with ill intent.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Les. I am Natasha Sputnik. I could not help but overhear your conversation with the inspector. I represent a group of businessmen who wish to purchase this special space technology. They will double any offer I might, and I might be willing to offer a few incentives of my own.
Get your filthy Martian tentacles off of me! Look, Miss Sputnik, that approach may work other places, but not here.
Well, you cannot blame a girl for trying. Here's your hat, or your coat, and your tie, and your shirt.
Now get out and stay out.
Rick, if I had known there was going to be a floor show, I would have shown up sooner.
Of all the spaceports and all the asteroids, she had to walk into mine. We hadn't seen each other in years, but she hadn't changed a bit. She was still the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen. She was, and always would be, the love of my life.
Well, are you going to say something? Or did the Martian take your tongue too?
Hello, Marion.
Hello, Rick. Remember me?
Like it was yesterday. You wore blue, the Contrarians wore gray.
Oh, well, I put that dress away. That blue dress, well, I'll wear it when the Cronterans leave.
You didn't come here to discuss your wardrobe choices?
No, I did not. I came here on behalf of my husband, David Moore.
I think she may be here for my dark speed hyperdrive.
Sam, I see you're done recharging. What do you mean, dark speed hyperdrive?
Yes, while trying to invent a better martini, I accidentally invented the dark speed hyperdrive. Rather than trying to fly at the speed of light, it allows one to travel at the speed of dark. No matter how fast light travels, dark is already there.
That's all well and good, but what's in it for me?
For you?
Yes, me. You get David, David gets a dark speed hyperdrive, and I get the Cronterans. Now I could sell the hyperdrive through the Cronterans or the Martians and make a fortune, and I'd be well within my rights.
Yes, you could. but I don't believe you will.
I don't think you realize how much you hurt me. When I woke up on Pluto and discovered you were gone, I was devastated. We were beginning to build a life on Pluto.
Rick, we'll always have Pluto, but where I'm going, you can't follow. What David and I have to do, you can't be a part of. I'm no good at being noble, but it doesn't take much to see that the problems of 3 little people don't amount to a hill of beans in this crazy mixed up world, galaxy, universe. Oh, someday you'll understand.
What I understand is that you had a choice to make.
More or less.
And you wanted more in the end. Why, I'll never understand.
What I understand is that you are going to turn over that dark speed hyperdrive to me.
Natasha, I didn't hear you slither back in.
Rick, you can't let her have it.
This ray gun, the sonic spear, the other ray gun, the singing sword, and the humming hammer. And this little bag of peanuts says differently.
Rick, she knows about your peanut allergy.
Yes, I was trained by the best in the Acme School of Evil.
Not so fast, Miss Sputnik. Harming my partner Rick Letts will not achieve your goal. The plans for the dark speed hyperdrive are in my databank and my databank alone.
You don't share the database, certainly?
No, what kind of robot do you take me for?
The kind that is going to be downloaded into my hard drive. Please prepare to be deactivated.
Look out, Sam. She's going to fire.
Curses! All I have is this little bag of peanuts.
And I don't have a peanut allergy. Now it's your turn, Miss Sputnik. The immobilizer ray will render you helpless until the authorities arrive.
I notified Inspector Rock and she took custody of Miss Sputnik. She wasn't going to be bothering anyone for a long time. Sam agreed to give his dark speed hyperdrive technology to Marion so she could help defeat the Cronterans. I knew that I always loved Marion, but this war with the Cronterans was bigger than both of us. Maybe someday I would learn to live with the pain, but it wouldn't be today. And now, Texaco presents a commercial by Craig Limekeeler.
Well, howdy. I'm Bob Adams, played by Charles. I'm just an average middle-class Southern guy with a wife trying to make ends meet.
Well, how do you do? I'm Cindy Adams, played by Anita. I'm Bob's wife, a Southern lady, and I like to look nice in the latest fashions.
Hi, Bob Adams speaking. As the days get longer and the weather gets warmer, more and more people will be taken to the open roads. That's why the good folks at Texaco would like to remind our listeners to visit their friendly Texaco dealer for a spring tune-up so you can get the maximum use out of your automobile. Isn't that true, Cindy?
Yes, it is. Texaco will inspect your automobile from bumper to bumper. Here's Bob to let you know what a spring tune-up includes. And by doing so, you can save yourself hundreds of dollars down the road, which could be used for, say, a new spring wardrobe.
A new spring wardrobe?
Never mind. That spring wardrobe, Bob, just tell our listeners about the fabulous spring tune-up available at Texaco.
Oh, yes, the spring tune-up. Well, they will change your oil, inspect, replace your spark plugs if necessary. They will also rotate your tires and check your belts and hoses. What do you mean a new spring wardrobe? You know I had my eye on a brand new set of golf clubs.
Don't be silly, Bob. I can't wear a set of golf clubs. Don't worry, dear. Nothing too elaborate. Just a dress or two or three. And of course, new shoes and purses to coordinate.
Dadgummit, it sounds like I'll be lucky to get a putter. While Cindy and I discuss our spring budget, why don't you head down to your friendly Texaco dealer for a spring tune-up? Remember, you can trust your car to the man who wears the star, the big red Texaco star.
Now, wait a minute now, Auntie. I really need those new clothes. Now, give me your checkbook.
Well, why don't you just buy some jewelry and a new car yourself?
Check Hartz, Private Eye by Craig Limekiller. Our characters tonight are...
I'm your announcer, Phil, played by Charles.
I'm your announcer, Phyllis, played by Lynn.
I'm Bruno Bedonsky, played by Eric.
I'm Jacob Hartz, played by Craig. I'm a private investigator. I'm a little rough around the edges, but underneath I have a heart of gold. I want the truth and nothing but the truth.
I'm John Fields, played by Barry. I'm uncle to Max and Marcy Plum. Their mother, my younger sister, is a widow. I'm wealthy, reclusive, and I hate publicity.
I'm Max Plum, played by James. I'm John Fields' ne'er-do-well thug nephew. I'm always looking to make a fast buck because I feel the world owes me.
I am Marcy Plum, played by Laura. I am Max's twin sister. But unlike Max, I am honest, hardworking, and I don't feel the world owes me a thing.
I'm Mrs. Pickering, played by Catherine. I've been a slightly sarcastic Irish housekeeper and cook for Mr. John Fields for many years. I have a daughter named Patsy, whom I love dearly.
I'm Patsy Pickering. I'm Mrs. Pickering's Irish daughter. My dream is to attend nursing school.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to dig up another case in the files of Jacka Hartz, private investigator. And speaking of digging, spring is just around the corner. Time to check out Acme's new line of exciting shovels.
That's right, Phil. Acme is here to cover all your shoveling needs with more than a dozen models featuring solid oak handles and stainless steel spades for earth removal, or the newer lightweight aluminum model for ladies. Here is Mr. Bruno Badonsky, another highly satisfied Acme customer.
That's right. I am a highly satisfied customer.
And
of the Acme Shovel Company. Their shovels make my job easier.
Acme has just the shovel you need for all your toughest shoveling jobs.
I especially enjoyed the model with the built-in flashlight for burying things at night so they ain't never seen in the light of day.
So there you have it, another satisfied Acme Shovel customer. And now it's time for Jacka Hartz, Private Eye. As our story begins, we find our hero, Jacka Hartz, finishing up dinner with his old friend John Fields.
Ah, John, that was one of the best meals I've had in a long time. You really outdid yourself.
Oh, I would like to not take credit for the meal, but your accolades should really go to Mrs. Pickering. She is the culinary genius behind this delicious feast. But don't tell her I said so. She'll raise her rates, and I'm already paying the tuition to put her daughter Patsy through nursing school.
Just then, Mrs. Pickering enters and begins to clear the dishes.
Mrs. Pickering, John and I were just saying what a fabulous meal this was. Weren't we, John?
It was adequate.
Yes, I see. You only had 3 heaping helpings.
John tells me Patsy's going to nursery school in the spring.
Yes, Mr. Fields was kind enough to pick up the tuition. Otherwise, I don't know what I would have done. I haven't told Patsy yet, though. I want it to be a surprise.
Well, she deserves it. She's a bright young lady, unlike my nephew Max, who's a schemer and a bitter disappointment. My sister deserves better. At least she has Marcy, Max's twin sister. That sweet girl has a good head on her shoulders. She'll do all right. Max, sadly, not, I'm afraid.
You know, with cooking like yours, Mrs. Pickering, you could have opened up a restaurant and made a fortune by now.
Sir, I will thank you not to put any such ideas in Mrs. Pickering's head.
Oh, relax, Mr. Fields. I'm not going anywhere. You'd probably starve to death. And then who'd pay for Patsy's tuition? And not that you deserve it, but I'll be serving the dessert.
With all my detective skills, I still cannot figure out why a wonderful woman like that would put up with a man like you, John.
It's my charming personality.
Just then they hear a loud scream coming from the kitchen. Jack rushes to the kitchen, followed by Mr. Fields.
Mrs. Pickering, what's wrong?
No, I found it when I lifted the cake cover. Somebody has kidnapped Patsy, and they're demanding $5,000.
And they've taken my cake.
We'll notify the police at once.
Oh, no, please don't. The note said not to notify the authorities.
That's pretty standard kidnapping 101. They're trying to control the situation.
I agree with Mrs. Pickering. The police will only botch things up. If anyone can help find Patsy, it's you, Jack.
I disagree, but we'll play it your way for now.
Let's travel back in time a few short days, where we find Max and Maurice Plum, the nephew and niece of wealthy industrialist John Fields. Marcy is hurriedly packing a suitcase.
What's with all the packing?
I'm heading back to the farm to help Mom with the planting. Ever since Pop passed, she's been trying to run the farm by herself. And she's no spring chicken. You know, if you were a good son, you would come too.
Me? Work on a farm? Are you serious? I have much bigger plans in store.
What's with all the pacing? You're chumpier than a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs.
You gotta lend me a C note, sis. Frankie and the boys are putting the screws to me.
Max, why must you insist on playing cards with those men? They are way out of your league.
No, they're not. I have a system.
A system in which you owe a C note to Frankie the Thumb is not a good system.
Actually, it's 5 C notes.
Max, where are the other 4 C notes supposed to come from? Your fairy godmother?
Well, I was thinking...
Absolutely not.
The old tightwad is loaded. He can spare the dough. I just need enough money to run the grift. Come on, I'll pay you back, honest.
Me? Absolutely not. Why don't you ask Uncle John?
I did. He turned me down flat. He said it was gonna pay for Patsy Pickering's nursing tuition, and she's not even his own flesh and blood.
He may be rough, but he has a soft spot. I know Patsy. She's a bright kid.
Yes, but she's not his family. We are. All you gotta do is turn up the charm a little. For you, he'll do it. For me, he'd never do it. Please.
For the final time, the answer is no. And oh. He likes me because I don't have my hand out every time I visit. You're going to have to find another Patsy.
At that moment, an idea springs up to the mind of Max Plum. If Marcy won't help him, maybe it was time to pay a little visit to the apartment where Patsy Pickering lives with her mother.
Yes, who is it?
Package for Miss Patsy Pickering.
I wasn't expecting. Oh my. Why are you wearing a mask? Is that a gun?
It ain't apple pie, sister. Now get in the car and don't try anything funny.
I promise. Please don't hurt me.
If everything goes as planned, no one gets hurt. And I get a fat payday.
But me mother, she's only a housekeeper and a cook. She doesn't have any money.
No, but the man she worked for does.
Oh, Mr. Fields, he'll never pay. He squeezes $1 so hard that even Mr. George Washington will turn blue.
Sister, you're preaching to the choir. Now put on this blindfold so we can get going.
Meanwhile, back at the Fields estate, John Fields and Jack the Hartz examine the ransom note.
I tell you, there is something familiar about this handwriting. I feel I've seen it before.
Could it be a business rival seeking revenge?
I can't imagine anyone I deal with stooping so low.
What about the stationery it was written on?
Oh, it just so happens I have extensive collection of hotel stationery.
Hotel stationery?
Do I question your hobbies? Now put on these cotton gloves to protect the paper and see if you can find a match.
After several minutes, Jack finally makes an announcement.
I think I've found a match. The kidnapper cut off the logo, but the border of the stationery matches that of the Grand Hotel.
That's why I recognize the handwriting. That's the hotel at which I put my niece and nephew. It's Max's handwriting.
We need to get to the Grand Hotel right away.
John Fields and Jack the Hartz rush out of the house and hop into Jack's roadster. They drive at a breakneck speed.
Slow down, Max. Your driving's more of a threat to me than my nephew Max. Call me old-fashioned, but I believe all four tires should be on the pavement at all times.
Sorry, but I didn't want Max to get away. I'll explain the situation to the hotel manager and get his room number for the front desk.
A few minutes later, Jack returns with the room key.
He's in room 304.
Good. Do you have your piece with you?
I never leave home without it. Let's rescue Miss Pickering. I'll take the stairs and you take the elevator. That way, he can't slip by us.
Okay.
Meanwhile, in room 304,
Tell ya, it'll be a waste of time. Just untie me and let me go. I won't tell anyone, I promise. Mr. Field just employs me mother. He's not going to pay any ransom.
Zip it, sister. Your uncle will pay the ransom. After all, he's paying your tuition to nursing school.
Oh, me tuition? John Fields is paying me tuition. Did you say your uncle? Oh, that must mean you are Max Plum.
Me and my big mouth. Sorry, Toots. Looks like I'll be taking that ransom and you'll be taking a dirt nap.
Oh, no, please, I swear I won't tell anyone. No one will ever know.
Don't say a word.
I'm going to be hearing a knock on the door. I bet there's somebody in that hallway and they're going to knock on the door right now.
Don't say a word if you want to see tomorrow. Now I'm gonna lock you in this closet. Who is it?
Room service.
I didn't order any room service.
It's a free bottle of champagne, sir.
I took the pledge and swore off drinking.
Did I say champagne? I meant to say grape juice. I'll just let myself in.
Don't bother.
Don't bother.
I tell you, I don't want any grape juice.
I insist you do.
Jack of Hearts forces the door open, and Max is knocked to the floor.
Oh, where's Mrs. Pickering? What have you done with her?
I'll never tell.
Look here, you hoodlum. I don't care if you are my nephew. You better tell us where Mrs. Pickering is, or you'll be spending a very long time behind bars.
Listen, dear uncle, he's right. If passengers return to us unharmed, the judge will be lenient. Otherwise, it's your funeral. Oh, shit.
What have you got to say, Max?
I wasn't going to hurt her, I swear. I just wanted some money to pay off some gambling debts.
Just then, there's a thumping noise and a muffled cry coming from the closet.
Oh, help! Yeah, let me out! He's in the closet. Quick, open it!
Miss Pickering falls out into the arms of Jack of Hearts.
There, Miss Pickering, you're safe. No need to panic. Let me untie you and remove the blindfold.
Thank you, Mr. Owen, Mr. Fields. Is it true about you spending the money and paying my tuition?
Yes, it's true, young lady. I was supposed to remain a secret. You're a very bright and caring young lady, and the world could use more nurses. What would the world need less of is punks like my nephew Max, who thinks the world owes them.
And thus, we have reached the end of this case from the files of Jack of Hearts, Private Eye. Join us next week when we dig up another case, and be sure to check out the latest shovels from the Acme Shovel Company. Good night and good digging.
And now, The Sweet Teeth Bakery by Laura Liu. The characters are the announcer, played by Anita.
Mrs. Mary Snickers, a woman in her 30s, played by Laura.
Bob Baker, owner of the Sweet Teeth Bakery, played by Barry.
Tim, in his 20s, he is Bob's assistant, played by Craig.
Mrs. Cora Crowley, a wealthy socialite, played by Catherine.
Mrs. June Cleaver, a regular customer, played by Anita. Bob Baker is a 45-year-old man. He inherited the Sweet Teeth Bakery from his father, who died 5 years ago. Bob runs the bakery with the help of his assistant, Tim. He goes by to the bakery at 4 a.m. every morning and prepares for the day's work. This morning, Bob is taking inventory of his supplies.
Oh, no! I have only got 5 pounds of sugar left, and the next delivery's not for another 10 days. What am I going to do?
At that moment, there is a knock on the back door. Bob walks over to open the door.
Morning, Tim.
Good morning, Bob. Sorry I'm a little late. I needed to take care of some business at home.
That's all right. Did you know we only have 5 pounds of sugar left? I don't know where this war is going to be over, but I hope it's soon.
Speaking of war, I just need to let you know I got my draft notice yesterday. I need to report to the processing center tomorrow.
Oh, no. I'm sorry, Tim. You leave tomorrow. If you need to go home and take care of things, go ahead and do it, my friend.
Thanks, boss. I really appreciate it. I'll keep you posted.
Tim opens the door and leaves. Bob writes "Help Wanted" on a piece of paper and posts it outside his front door. Then he goes back to the back of the store and starts to work, preparing his dough for the day. At 6 a.m., he unlocks the front door to allow customers in. Mrs. June Cleaver, a regular customer, doesn't see anyone, so she rings the bell on the counter.
Oh, good morning, Mrs. Cleaver. Sorry I was in the back. I have to take care of the back and the front all day by myself now. What can I get you?
That's okay. I heard Tim was drafted. All of our young men in town are being sent to Europe every day. We can't go on like this forever. I will get about 24 hot cross buns, please. Bob hands the box of hot cross buns to Mrs. Cleaver and rings up her purchase. I hope you find help soon, Bob. Mary walks in, doesn't see anyone, so she rings the bell on the counter. Bob walks out from the back.
Good morning. I see that you have a help wanted sign outside. My name is Mary Snickers. I can help, and I could sure use the work.
Well, yes, I'm short-handed, and I really could use the help. Say, are you married?
Yes, I am. Why do you ask?
I only ask because it looks like you have, pardon the expression, a bun in the oven.
Indeed, Mr. Baker, I am 4 months along, but I'm very healthy, and I have not been sick at all, and I'm a good worker too.
4 months along. That means in a few months I'll have to look for help all over again, on top of dealing with supply shortages, including sugar. It's all just too much. Mrs. Snicker, I'm very sorry.
Sugar? Why didn't you say so? If you need more sugar, I can help.
You can help? How?
Shh. My husband knows someone. If you get what my meaning. So, am I hired? Please, Mr. Baker, I desperately need the work.
A woman in your condition, I'm sorry, Mrs. Snickers, but I'll have to think about it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm very busy today.
I understand completely. Goodbye, Mr. Baker.
As Mary is about to leave, another customer, the flamboyant socialite, Mrs. Cora Crawley, walks in.
Like to order 500 chocolate cupcakes with heaps of sweet frosting on top.
500 cupcakes?
Well, yes, 500 for delivery. And that will be early tomorrow morning, if you please. I'm throwing a soiree.
By tomorrow morning? Oh my. Could you wait just a minute, please? I'll be right back.
With that, Bob rushes outside the store and calls after Mary.
Mrs. Snickers, come back, please.
Hearing her name, Mary turns around and walks toward Bob.
Yes, Mr. Baker. What is it?
Oh, I'm so glad I caught up with you before too late. Can we talk? It's important. Would you be willing to start working for me immediately?
Work for you? A woman in my condition? With a bun in the oven?
Yes, I know, but I desperately need your help.
Well, Mr. Baker, as someone recently said to me, I'll have to think about it. Now, please excuse me. I'm very busy today. Goodbye, Mr. Baker.
And with that, Mary Snickers walks off, her head held high. Please tune in this same time tomorrow when we find out what happens at the Sweet Teeth Bakery. The Sweet Teeth Bakery is brought to you by Borden's Sweetened Condensed Milk and Caro Syrup. I can, you can, we all can with Caro.
Experience the difference with Chesterfield Cigarettes by Eric Quilkey. The announcer, played by Lisa.
Joe, played by Eric.
Gertrude, played by Lynn.
Have you ever said to yourself, boy, I wish there was a cigarette I could trust? Well, look no further than Chesterfield Cigarettes. Our unique blend of tobacco has been pleasing smokers for generations. Experience the difference with Chesterfield Cigarettes, written by Eric Quilkey. The announcer today shall be played by me, Lisa.
Joe, played by Eric.
And Gertrude, played by Lynn.
Have you ever said to yourself, boy, I wish there was a cigarette that I could trust? Well, look no further than Chesterfield Cigarettes. Oh, our unique blend of tobacco has been pleasing smokers for generations.
What? Did you say pleasing?
Well, yes. Do you think big corporations don't care about you? Well, think again. Chesterfield offers a smooth, flavorful taste that is sure to leave you wanting more. Unlike your last boyfriend, who was not at all smooth or exciting. Chesterfield cigarettes are affordable and come in a variety of blends and sizes. And you don't have to worry about them struggling to pay that rent. Huh. So whether you're looking for a beautiful, mild, or a full, bold experience, we have something to suit your needs. Try Chesterfield cigarettes today and experience the difference. Here's what some of our customers have to say.
I just love the smooth and flavorful taste of Chesterfield cigarettes, and I don't have to deal with my ex-girlfriend's drama anymore. Being single is like having a Chesterfield without the smoke.
And I agree. The Chesterfield cigarettes are the perfect balance of flavor and affordability. Unlike my ex-boyfriend, who is cheap and full of empty promises and never satisfying. I guess you could say that I'm much better off without him. And Chesterfield cigarettes always leave me satisfied.
Of course. At Chesterfield, we believe that you deserve a cigarette that you can trust. So try Chesterfield cigarettes today and experience the difference yourself.
Once again, it's time for Theater of the Bizarre. Each week, we bring you a tale of horror and suspense from the twisted mind of Eric Quilkey. So chain your doors, lock your windows, and hold on to your sanity as long as you can. It's going to be a goosebumpy ride. Today's episode we call Robot Wife.
A man loses brain cells every time he talks to his robot wife, and the robot wife wants to take his brain cells to become human. The characters are announcer played by me.
Craig, as the man, middle-aged, a bit disoriented and confused, with a kind face and a gentle demeanor, a bit naive and trusting. He wears a white shirt, a pair of khaki pants, and a pair of brown loafers.
Robot wife, a tall, humanoid-looking robot made of metal and plastic. With a smooth, emotionless face, speaks in a robotic voice. She is programmed to take brain cells in order to become human.
And now, Craig as the man and Laura as the robot wife in Robot Wife. We are in a living room with a couch. Robot Wife stands in the corner. We hear the man's footsteps as he enters and walks across the room.
I don't remember why I came in here. I wish I could remember what I'm doing here.
You are here to talk to me, your robot wife.
I am?
Yes, I need your brain cells to become human.
Wait, what did you say?
Every time you talk to me, I take some of your brain cells. It is the only way I can become human. You see, without brain cells, I am just a robot. And I don't want to be just a robot. I want to be human, like you. So I must have some of your brain cells.
No, don't do this. I won't let you do this.
I am sorry, but it is the only way. Besides, I don't think you need all of your 100 billion brain cells.
All right then. I suppose I can probably do without a few brain cells. I can give you a few too, but just a few. What do you want to talk about?
Anything you want.
Well, I guess we could talk about our day.
Sure. What did you do today?
I went to work, I came home, and I took a walk around the neighborhood.
Interesting. How did you think of the neighborhood?
It was nice. The trees were in bloom and the sun was setting. It was very peaceful.
That sounds nice.
It was.
The man continues to talk to the robot wife for a few minutes, but he starts to change.
I feel strange. My head feels lighter. I can't stand up.
He looks up and sees that the robot wife has taken some of his brain cells.
You took too much away. You took too many of my brain cells. I said you could have a few of my brain cells, but not all of them.
The robot wife zaps the rest of the man's brain cells and slowly begins transforming into a human. She looks at the man one last time before leaving the room.
I am sorry, but it's the only way for me to become human. And after all, you said I could.
I don't understand.
Of course you don't. Without brain cells, how could you? Thank you. I appreciate it just the same. And now, goodbye.
What have I done?
The man is left alone in the room, unable to move or speak. He can only think. He sits silent for what feels like an eternity. Finally, he is able to move again. Slowly he stands and looks around the empty room, not knowing what the future holds.
Once again, it's time for Theater of the Bizarre. Each week we bring you a tale of horror and suspense for the twisted mind of Eric Crittky. So chain your doors, lock your windows, and hold on to your sanity as long as you can. It's going to be a goose of a ride. Today's episode we call Robot Wife.
A man loses brain cells every time he talks to his robot wife, and the robot wife wants to take his brain cells to become human. The characters are announcer, me.
The man, middle-aged, a bit disoriented and confused, with a kind face and a gentle demeanor, a bit naive and trusting. He wears a white shirt, a pair of khaki pants, and a pair of brown loafers.
Robot wife, a tall humanoid-looking robot made of metal and plastic, with a smooth and motionless face. She speaks in a robotic voice. She is programmed to take brain cells in order to become human.
And now, Craig as the man, and Laura as the robot wife in Robot Wife. We are in a living room with a couch. Robot wife stands in the corner. We hear the man's footsteps as he enters and walks across the room.
I don't remember why I came in here. I wish I could remember what I was doing here.
You are here to talk to me, your robot wife.
I am?
Yes, I need your brain cells to become human.
Wait, what did you say?
Every time you talk to me, I take some of your brain cells. It is the only way I can become human. You see, without brain cells, I am just a robot. And I don't want to become just a robot. I want to be human, like you. So I must have some of your brain cells.
No, don't do this. I won't let you do this.
I am sorry, but it is the only way. Besides, I don't think you need all of your 100 billion brain cells.
Well, all right then. I suppose I could probably do without a few brain cells. I can give a few to you, but just a few. What do you want to talk about?
Anything you want.
Well, I guess we could talk about our day.
Sure. What did you do today?
I went to work, I came home, and then took a walk around the neighborhood.
Interesting. What did you think of the neighborhood?
It was nice. The trees were in bloom, and the sun was setting. It was very peaceful.
That sounds nice.
It was.
The man continues to talk to the robot wife for a few minutes, but he starts to change.
I feel strange. My head feels lighter. I can't stand up.
He looks up and sees that the robot wife has taken some of his brain cells.
You took too many of my brain cells. I said you could have a few of my brain cells, but not all of them.
The robot wife saps the rest of the man's brain cells and slowly begins transforming into a human. She looks at the man one last time before leaving the room.
I'm sorry, but it's the only way for me to become human. And after all, you said I could.
I don't understand.
Of course you don't. Without brain cells, how could you? Thank you. I appreciate just the same. And now, goodbye.
What have I done?
The man is left alone in the room, unable to move or speak. He can only think. He sits silent for what feels like an eternity. Finally, he is able to move again, Slowly, he stands and looks around the empty room, not knowing what the future holds.